You're listening to The Grip, where we take hold of mindset and martial arts. Now, let's get started. Today's guest is someone who truly embodies what it means to live a martial arts lifestyle, on the mats, in the ring, and beyond it. With over 18 years of experience in martial arts, fitness, and training, he brings a deep, multidisciplinary background that spans across Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga, boxing, kickboxing, judo, wrestling, and Jeet Kune Do. He is a certified Kung Kru in Muay Thai, recognized by 2 separate organizations, a level 3 Krav Maga instructor, and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. His coaching and movement credentials extend even further as a registered yoga teacher, CrossFit Level 1 trainer, certified personal trainer, and USA boxing coach. He also serves as a Muay Thai judge and referee, helping uphold the integrity of the sport. As a competitor, he's a retired professional fighter with a 5-1 Muay Thai record, a 6-2 MMA record, and a WKA Amateur World Championship to his name. As a leader in the community, he's the owner of Denver Muay Thai Fitness and the founder of Muay Thai for the Soul consultations, where he emphasizes a holistic approach to wellness, using the principles of Muay Thai not just for fighting, but for personal growth, resilience, and life balance. Beyond accolades and titles, his story is one of perseverance and purpose. Once an undocumented immigrant, he has since become an American citizen and continues to give back through numerous nonprofit initiatives supporting Hispanic organizations. Above all, he's a proud son, a brother, a friend, and a coach. Roles he carries with as much intention as any belt or title. I'm honored to welcome to the show, Daniel Chacon.
Thank you very much. That's very kind words.
Yes, well, I appreciate you coming on, Daniel. As I prepared for this episode, I've just been getting more and more excited to just dive into the weeds with you. I think we're going to go in so many different directions. But before we do that, why don't you just start from the beginning and just share a little bit about where you're from and what life was like before you were introduced to martial arts?
So I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And my parents are Bolivian. And life before martial arts was very unknown and chaotic. And I feel like I started later in life. I started at 20 years old. But before being that age, before that, it was a lot of chaos, not a lot of discipline, not a lot of good role models in my life. And I think many of us try to find something that clicks with us. And unfortunately, at my time growing up, I didn't have too many opportunities to find that, but then I did find it. And I found martial arts, and I've been running with it for 18 years. And like anything, there's highs and lows in life, and it's been a blessing, and it's been sometimes difficult. But right now, my relationship with it is amazing, and I'm very, very blessed, extremely blessed to share my art, share opportunities with others, and then just display a little bit of my wisdom that I've attained throughout these years.
Yeah, I love it. And so you've lived part of your life undocumented before becoming an American citizen. So can you share a little bit about what that process was like and what did that reality teach you about just identity and belonging in and of itself?
Yeah, thank you for asking. It's like, well, I came to this country undocumented, and I didn't know I was undocumented until my mother told me when I was in middle school. I had no idea. I didn't know the difference because you're a kid, right? I came to this country at 6 years old. And so I didn't really know the difference of what it was. To me, I was just growing up.
Sure.
English was a second language for me. English was a little bit rough to pick up, but thankfully the Power Rangers and, all these, cool X-Men and all these shows like kind of helped me a lot to learn the English language. And I progressed to learning more about physical activities to really let go of my anger or stress of my life because I was raised by a single parent. So my mom really took the courage and initiative to bring my brother and I into this country. And we didn't know, so we just kind of lived our life and did our best. Um, and I remember watching the news, and this is like in New Jersey. We were living in New Jersey at that time. We bounced a lot often because my mom had to always find a new job, and but I remember watching the news in New Jersey, and they detained a couple of illegal immigrants, and they were saying things to me that was like I heard before from my mom, and that's when it clicked to me, and I turned to her and I looked her in the eyes and I asked her, "Is like, are we legal?" And I'm sure this was one of the hardest things for her to answer to her
Mhm.
son. And I was honest with me and told me we're not. And I grew up learning to be small. I grew up to hide. She always
Mm.
trained me to like stay away from trouble, stay away from police, stay away from, and it's that fear, you know? And so I didn't really get to have a childhood too much growing up because I had to really be small to not attract any attention. And so is my brother, which is really cool about martial arts though, because
Mhm.
um, as I grew up, I felt I didn't have places. Martial arts gave me the space, the
Mhm.
safe space to let go and not be worried, not be judged. Because on the mat, you have doctors, people who work at 7-Eleven, you have all walks of life. And
Mhm.
so I wasn't judged for my papers. I wasn't judged for where I was from or what I look like.
Mhm.
And so that gave me opportunity to express myself more. At first, it was difficult because, again, I didn't have too many opportunities. One thing that stood out to me actually when I was in high school, I don't really remember Dare, like the drugs, the Dare,
Oh, right.
like the dog, with, like don't do drugs kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, like I'm a big artist. I love drawing. I love sketching. I love comic books. So in my class, I was the artist. I won one
Okay.
class artist, whatever. So big part of like my to release my creativity and my pain was being artistic
Mm.
and doing theater, drama club, all these things. Like you wouldn't believe I was in drama club and fighting professionally across the world. It's like, how does that work?
Yeah.
But I found art and there was a dare contest, national dare contest, and the winner will get it was something small. It was like I think $1,000 or $2,000 scholarship for the college.
Well, that's big.
I think so, right? But
Yeah.
so I won.
Wow.
However, they asked me for my social security,
Oh.
and so I didn't have one. And that was a hard punch to the gut. And so I think like I tried to attend college, but because I was undocumented, I would pay out of state tuition. So you're talking about a class that costs like $80 for in-state tuition person who has documentation. Out of state, you're looking at $400, $300 a class. I tried my
Mm.
absolute best to go to college, and I worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and to make it happen. But I was just so lost. And then
Yeah.
until martial arts came into the picture, it wasn't like to say that it was my only option. It was what aligned to my feeling, my gut. This is what I want to follow.
Mhm. Yeah, and another opportunity. I have no um I can't even have like the slightest level of being able to relate to that kind of upbringing, and I would imagine a lot of people don't. And so it's super interesting to just hear that from such a young age. You almost probably had some level of overarching fear or uncertainty, and I'm sure there were just times of feeling overwhelmed with that whole process and who you were, but also the opportunities that you guys were trying to develop for yourselves as individuals and as a family. So,
Mhm.
how did you, it sounds like art and theater really helped kind of keep you moving forward
Yeah.
despite all of that. Were there any other individuals or
Oh, yeah.
activities that kind of helped push you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I give this credit. This is like every time I do a video, or interview, or podcast, anytime I get a spotlight, I credit this person because without this person, I would not be where I am today. His name's Andre Vallis. He is one of my best friends, grew up in New Jersey. He- Going back to what I was telling you, being shy, being small, like, that's how I was told to be because of it. But my friend Andre, he was a well-rounded athlete. He was like the guy. Everyone loved hanging out with him. The girls loved him. he was just that guy. And I don't know why he wanted to be my friend, but he wanted to be my friend. And he came over my house. We played video games a lot, and we just kept hanging out. And then he stopped hanging out with his football team friends and started hanging out with me more. And he's like, "Hey, come to practice, come to football." And I had no interest of doing like anything like that. He didn't push me. Hey, come to this, come to that. Like he would just keep pushing me and to me uncomfortable. And then he's like, come to me to Kyokushin karate. He was doing karate. He was a brown belt. And I went, I loved it. However, I couldn't afford it. There was no way
Uh,
my mom could afford it. And so he actually was teaching me in his backyard, you know, and we gradually made that relationship. And I'm going to continue the story, but there's a side story too that I really enjoy telling because it's more updated now.
please.
So he got married last year in January around this time, and I was one of his best mans for his wedding in New York. And it was just a lovely time to be there for him and his wife and his family. After the reception, after we danced our butts off, we had an awesome time. We were laughing. It was like the greatest wedding I've been to, my friends. I had to depart for my flight. And as you probably know, when someone gets their jiu-jitsu black belt, it's a big deal. Because it most likely, it's safe to assume, it's safe to agree, right, that you won't get it in 2 years. You won't get
Right.
it in 4 years,
Right. It's a
right?
long journey.
It's a long journey. It takes a lot of highs and lows. My friend, he never got his black belt in Kyokushin, and he dabbled on martial arts, but it just never worked out for him. He actually became an attorney. My professor gave me his black belt, and it's all beat up. It's all like, the threads are sticking out, everything like,
Yeah.
and I have it with me. And I held it super tight. I was like, wow. And I was like, I don't know what to get Andre. I can get him like the cool shit, the materialistic stuff, which some people value, but I can write him a letter. I can do stuff. So now I was like, I'm going to give him my black belt. And so we were having breakfast after the wedding. And I pulled him off to the side and I was choking up. I couldn't put my words together. I was like, I love you. The reason I travel the world, I get to be flown out for seminars is because of you. And I gave him my black belt. And it was like the most rewarding feeling I've had in a very long time. And I didn't know his family was overhearing this whole conversation. And they're all just like clapping for him for getting his black belt.
Mm.
And it was like, to me, that was a standout moment.
And
He's the guy who,
probably a moment for him too where there was a deep meaning that
yeah,
he understood the, magnitude of what you were doing.
yeah, his younger brother who was in the police department, he's a brown belt. And his younger brother also gives me credit too. It's like, Danny, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do jiu-jitsu right now. And you forget these things,
Mm-hmm.
But going back to like the origin of like how I got into it, he became my friend. And the classic story, the UFC, was on VHS and Blockbuster. So we were excited martial arts nerds riding our bicycle to the Blockbuster, picking up the VHS because like his sensei told him, it's like, there's this thing called UFC. They fight death. And so my friend was like, did you hear about this thing? And I'm like, you're talking to a guy who watched Dragon Ball Z. And I'm like, I'd be sick to watch in person. And then he
Yeah.
ended up watching it and it's not that at all. And after a few videos, we were like, let's go find a place to train. Again, another classic story. Can't find places to train. There wasn't
Right.
places to train. So the closest thing we found with a guy teaching in his house, in his carpet. His one class was striking and it was in his like basement. And then jiu-jitsu practice with another big room, but with like fold out mats. And we did that. That's how we that was like literally the first, I guess, practice of jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai striking.
How old were you guys at this time?
19?
Okay.
Yeah, 19. Yeah. And then
And so
like
how many other people were going to this random guy's house?
you would get the like the people that really are looking for that violence, at that time, right? And I'm not one of them, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not that person. I like the art. I
Mm-hmm.
love the art. And I just wanted to connect with other
Mm-hmm.
people. Like many of us, we step on the mats in the academy to connect and to be
Mm-hmm.
seen. Uh,
Yeah.
and so I think that's what I was looking for. Not being intentionally aware of it, but that's what I was looking for. And but they put us on the pads and look like shit. They allowed us to roll for the first time, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. We were just minimal time there, and then it's kind of spiraled off to more to different academies to better training.
Yeah. Yeah. Dang. And it's cool to think too because you clearly had an artsy side of you. Do you feel like you had some inkling that this was a level, an additional way to express yourself? Or is that something that you just know now, looking back?
No, I kind of knew that there was beauty into it. I kind of saw like the martial arts movies of Bruce Lee and all those movies, and I was like, this is really cool. This is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think the other part to that as well is because growing up in this country, not learning the language, not learning the culture, not learning too much, I got bullied a lot. And you hear this often, I was extremely bullied. My brother and I, my older brother, we got into fights growing up. And I think a lot of just fighting back and raging just like helped us survive. But I did get jumped a
Mhm.
couple times on my own. My brother and I would fight, try to survive, and then they'll try to find a time where I'm by myself, and then they'll jump me. So
Yeah.
I think things like that, like I need to learn how to like not be a victim.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and I was fortunate enough to like overcome those obstacles, fighting
Mhm.
back my voice and empowerment, and then finding good people in my life. Because I think you and I can agree that there's like I'm not saying I'm a great coach, but there's good coaches and bad coaches.
Mhm.
And sometimes when you meet a bad coach, bad role model, or bad stir of the pot, then you're gradually going to a direction you never thought, but not for the right reasons or the right directions.
Right.
So I think when I started, it wasn't really like I had to fight to survive or anything like that. I just learned the art. And
Mhm.
in my school, I emphasize that a lot. I can care less about competition, Kaylee.
Mhm.
I really can't. Like at this point in my career, my life, it's more like the impact that I'm really looking for, the longevity, the art, passing
Yeah.
the art. Fighting is an infinite game. And we need infinite strategies. And so I had to really be strategic about how is this really impacting people's lives and XYZ.
Right. Right. And so, being undocumented, being raised by a single mom, raising both you and your brother, how do you think that shaped your work ethic, your discipline, maybe sense of urgency compared to people who may not have faced the
Yeah.
barriers that you guys did as kids?
Yeah, it really instilled me with hard work. I tell lots of my students, so God gave me only three really gifts. Like I work hard, I'm consistent, and I believe in myself. And I think that made me work twice as hard for everything. Which I think that some people find that really attractive, and some people find that turning off of like how ambitious you can be. My mom at first didn't believe like this was a path for me. She obviously what you don't know is what you know. And so my mom was like, keep trying college, keep trying college. And
You just what you just said previously kind of sparked something. Do you feel like when you say that having those traits can be a turnoff to some people, do you think that's really a turnoff, or do you think that just stems from them having a lack of
insecure.
confidence?
Yeah.
Or yeah,
Insecure. Yeah. Yeah. I
that's
believe.
all
Yeah.
I thought is just because, those are qualities that really I think everybody probably knows can benefit from no matter what avenue you're going in. But for anybody that kind of looks down on that or talks shit about it or whatever it may be, that right there just shines a red flag of, like you said, insecurity, which is unfortunate because having those people around you and people that are better than you, ultimately, I think, a lot of people speak to this is that you should be surrounded by people that are better than you in many ways, shapes, and forms, because then that gives you an example and raises the bar for yourself to continue to grow and be better. So anyways, that just I went down a
No, I
little
mean, that's
rabbit
a really
hole,
good
but
point, Kaylee, because my Krav Maga instructor said this, and maybe obviously we're all copies of copies, right? But he said, if you're the best guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
yeah, I
And
love
that's
it.
and that stood out to me. So yeah, I think it's it reflects insecurity and the whole, I guess, example of lobsters or crabs in a stew. Maybe you heard of that? Like
Uh-uh.
so like I could be fucking this up, but it's like I think it's crabs or lobsters, or I don't know. But in a boiling pot, you know, instead of like supporting each other, like if they see one crab or almost escaping, they'll pull them down, you know?
Yep, like getting to the top. Somebody's actually making it to the top.
Yeah, and they'll pull them down, and that's
Mhm.
it's just it's a really good thing that stands to me, and
Mhm.
just like that culture I came from, really, and it's not intentional for my family. It's just like fear is a big part of it, and
Yeah.
trauma is a big part of it. Maybe they did try something and it failed, and so that they ran with that story and that narrative in their life, and so they're like, well, it's not worth it.
Mhm.
And that's like their insecurity. So if I'm trying this thing that's very unknown, it's very difficult, and there's not a lot of ROI into this, then I'm gonna try to save this person, quote unquote, or because I love this person, I'm gonna tell them don't do it,
Mhm.
you know? And I think that's like was my family. But after, a big success from that is like 2 years ago, I paid for my family's vacation to come out here to Colorado, like everything. Mountains, train, everything, flights, I paid
Yeah.
everything. And I'm like really proud of it because I'm like,
Yeah.
martial arts did something, right?
Yes, absolutely. And so what is something, Daniel, that you wish more people understood about the undocumented experience that might get overlooked, is simplified, or maybe that just isn't even discussed?
Yeah, I think, I just recently made a post on my Instagram because I was undocumented, and now obviously I'm fortunate that I'm legal in this country. I create a business, I create jobs, I have employees. I stand up for my community, I do things for my community. And this is when I stand up for my people.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people don't see me as someone who can speak this well and who is successful in it to some extent as an undocumented immigrant, right? And it's like, no, I'm your fucking neighbor. I'm your teacher. I'm your
Mhm.
coach. I'm the guy who takes care of your kids. I'm the guy who takes care of your adults, your friends. We're those people.
Yeah.
And we're not we're not these criminals. We're not these people who are looking to try to take your job. We're actually more in fact, we're trying to create more opportunities for others. We're not ignorant. We're not uneducated. I read every day. I'm more consistently on podcasts. I travel around
Mhm.
the country to consistently learn. I give opportunities for people who want to learn. We're hurt. This is scary for us.
Mhm.
We tried. We're trying. We're trying really hard to be a part of this country, and we're not changing it. And and why are you scared of a change? It's inevitable things will change. It's
Mhm.
impossible for one thing to be forever or say forever. So if you're a security of like changing and that's you, it's inevitable. The change will happen with or without you. Try to understand it. Try to lead
Mhm.
with compassion and some form of understanding.
Yeah.
Because I think that's for a long time I didn't speak that because again, I was afraid to be judged. Now I'm taking a lot of ownership during these times, of course, as well. After my post, I got like a lot of threat messages, random. And like most of these guys will never fucking say that to
Right.
my
Just
face.
keyboard warriors or whatever it is.
Yeah, most of these guys won't come up and say that to my face. And they're like, this is where I live. This is where I am. If you really want to trade hands, I'm happy to do it. But the pencil is mightier than the sword. So if I can educate you and find where your pain is, and you can try to understand my pain.
Mhm.
Hopefully we can both understand each other and grow. A lot of people who own schools advise me to not share, to like stay out of politics, stay out of like these things. I personally went to the ICE detention center on my own last year, I'm sorry, because of what was happening. And I wanted to be there and see that and be part of it and help.
And
Um,
what was that like, Daniel?
very hard. A big fear growing up for me was getting detained by ICE, and
Mhm.
this was like a growth moment for me where my ex took me to that place. And as I was walking, and I've walked to cage fights, Muay Thai fights, super fights in jiu-jitsu, and I was so scared. That trauma, that little boy showed up again of how afraid he was. And I was just shaking my legs to get in there and open the door. The guy at the front was really kind. He was really sweet. He spoke, and the people in the waiting room weren't, English wasn't their first language. I can clearly tell they were having issues talking to that person. So I speak fluent Spanish.
Mhm.
So I came in and talked, helped support it. And then I wanted to go inside, but they told me that I need a specific pass. So they gave me the number like to before apparently you can go in and just like visit, but now there's new regulations, you can't.
Mm,
But there are examples outside of the walls of like their space and everything, and you see it, and it's just like and then families leaving without their mom with two kids,
mhm,
without their dad. And then I sat there and just extremely blessed to be in this fucking country and to be part of
mhm.
this and just try my best to give back. Just try my best to
Yeah.
do something about it. As I left, there was a volunteer table where they were giving kids toys and snacks and QR codes with attorneys for families that are pro bono work as well.
Mhm,
And so I was like, I want to volunteer.
mhm.
So I go there and for a few hours I stand on the table and just give out shit. But that's the least I could fucking do and just speak my
Right,
truth.
right. And for to people that would get upset about doing something as I'd like to say as simple, but it is massive. Doing any level of volunteer work or support for the situations that are going on today is massive.
Yeah. What's really interesting is 2012, I won the national tournament for WKA, the World Kickboxing Association. It's one of the biggest associations in striking in the world. Rob came in, like you name it, Ernest or Who's, they all won a WKA title or in California. Like it's a big organization. So you compete in nationals to get on the USA team. And then from the USA team, you go compete at the world championships. And in 2012, I won nationals. And every year, this tournament is held different parts in the world: Spain, England, Southeast Asia, like you know. And at that time, I was undocumented, so I won the national tournament. And I'm like, please let it be in America. And it was. The World Championships in 2012 was held in Florida, in Orlando. And no one knew I was undocumented. And I'm here representing Team USA as a fucking illegal immigrant trying to win gold for America.
Mhm.
I won my division. I beat everybody. Hell, was in that podium with my gold medal, with the flag on me. And I'm like, these people don't know I'm an illegal immigrant. But I love
Yeah.
this country, you know, and I love this. And so it's just so funny to me. Like I was chuckling so hard being in that podium and there in the top of my hand, my heart as the national anthem went up and they're
Right.
giving these medals. It was just so wild.
Yeah. I'm sure just like an aha moment to you, but also thinking if any of these people even knew or understood
Yeah,
the half of it. Yeah. Yeah. And so, if you don't mind sharing, what was that process even like for you, Daniel, to become
sure.
a
It's a
citizen?
long,
And is it, I've heard it is quite the process. And I think, I'll be the first to say, I don't know jack shit about the process of undocumented to becoming a US citizen. Just through my college experience playing with some athletes who are international, a lot of them had dreams to stay and work and ultimately become a citizen at some point, and just meeting different people who are international students through school. Same thing. And even for people who followed all the protocols and everything that they need to even get over here, it still seemed like they had to go through hell and back to even potentially get
hmm
the opportunity, and years and years and years of work that they had to put in. And so, can you share a little bit about what that experience was like
sure.
for you and how you decided, like, okay, I am going to buckle down and really try and get this?
Yeah. So, it was just a massive, huge, overwhelming task, or to where do you start, right? And my mom, as much as I love her, she didn't know how to start either.
Yeah.
A lot of the attorneys told us to, because you did an infraction, there's this thing where you would leave the country and then request to come back to be forgived. Sometimes it's penalized with 10 years because of that. But that was like a lot of the attorneys told us. And attorneys are very expensive. So you will go to attorney trying to get answers. And well, it's difficult. So,
Mhm.
but one beacon of light and hope was Obama. So Obama had this thing called DACA, Deferred Action Childhood Arrivals, which gave forgiveness to those kids who came to his country and had to show no criminal record, pay taxes, schooling here in this country. So there was like a whole procedure of showing these things. So DACA allowed me to have a work permit. However, DACA was in the gray area. It wasn't a green card. It wasn't like a road to citizenship. It was
Mhm.
just you're allowed to go to school and you're allowed to work. If you were to want to travel outside the country, you would get what's called advanced parole. That means you will have to request to DHS, either it's school, family, emergencies, and you have to present that to them in case you need to leave the country. And they cannot guarantee you a lawful entry if you leave. I had DACA. I applied. I was working at a restaurant job. Most of us work at these restaurant jobs, labor jobs, because we can't get another job. So a lot of my time was in the service industry,
Mhm.
and I saved up. I was tired of paying out of state tuition. I was like, I think this is the best path for me. So I saved up. I found a lawyer. Her name's Jennifer Alonso. She was my lawyer, and she helped me get my papers together and apply for DACA. I got my DACA. It's one of my happiest days of my life. My social security, however, it's not just a regular social security. It says DHS temporary approved. It does not like everybody else's.
Mhm.
My driver's license also had to have some kind of stamp or acknowledgement that I do have social security, but it's not quote unquote real. Even my
Mhm.
license kind of labeled me. So then I had DACA for years, and every 2 years I had to renew. And it's not cheap, and
Mhm.
it's not forever. We knew that some administration is going to stop it, or some law is going to stop it. So every year you would just have hope and dreams of like some new law came in, or new administration will come in and give us
Mm.
a pathway. Luckily, the people in my community who are DACA took this opportunity and they fucking ran with it.
Mm.
They got their college degrees, they became attorneys, so, and I ran with it too. Once
Yeah.
I got my DACA, once I got that, I was able just to, it wasn't like I was free. It was just like one handcuff was released.
Yeah.
And I went professional. I turned it from amateur to professional. When you go professional in fighting, you need to apply for state athletic commission. The state athletic commission needs your social security in order for you to prove. I could not have gone pro if I didn't have the social security.
Mm.
That time when I got my DACA, I was able to get my professional fighting license.
How old were you then at this point?
25.
Okay. Dang. That's just like so young to be trying to navigate all of this, where I think of other young 20-year-olds are like trying to live the high life in college and don't give two shits about,
Yeah.
half of this stuff. I mean, then this is like major life
Yeah.
changing decisions and paperwork and legal work that you're having to navigate at such a young age. And then also ultimately I'm sure you were grinding it out and looking forward to hoping one day you could go pro
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that being the one barrier.
That was a huge barrier. I just won the world championships as an amateur, and yeah, I was requested to have go pro, and my coach didn't know I was illegal, and I was ashamed, like so I just told him no, no, but eventually bomb past this thing. I got my license, I got my social security. I applied for a state flight commission. They gave me my professional license. That was one of my happiest days of my life when I got that. I had to renew DACA for a while and just wait. My attorney would tell me just wait. Other avenues you can try, but it's very difficult. You can apply for athlete green cards and XYZ, but it's not in line with the DACA road. It's very, very conflicting and difficult. At the
Mhm.
same time, you have to also hold yourself as accountable too by paying taxes, by being good, being out of trouble. And
Mhm.
in your 20s, it's hard.
Yeah.
In your 20s is hard, but and if you have like an infraction, like a traffic stop or whatever, you're done. You
Wow.
can't renew. You can appeal and get a lawyer, but it just
Sure.
makes the process a lot longer, a lot more expensive. Then after I met my wife, who was my ex, but I met my wife, and so we married in 2020, and that's all took a long process too because I was a DACA. I had to
Mhm.
consistently provide more information and evidence, like she's my wife. This is not a joke. It's like,
Right.
and also more records of myself. And the process just took way long. And they allowed me a green card. There's so many hurdles and so many misguided directions that you need this form, you need this form. Just kidding. Actually, this is the form you wanted. It's not so
Mhm.
clear.
Mhm.
And getting an attorney is very expensive. It makes the path a lot easier, but we didn't have. the financial support to
Yeah.
get an attorney. So we were like, we're gonna do this on our own. And so we had to kind of navigate through and you'll file something and you wouldn't hear back for 6 months. And then they'll be like,
Dang.
actually, you're supposed to file this. And you're like, I've been waiting 6 months. You file it again. Um, and then if they do biometrics, they take your fingerprints, and then eventually they grant you a sit-in and you will interview with the person. You'll do the whole like a history of your life. It's like so weird. They're asking the history of your life, and you have to go from date to date. Remembering dates is very difficult.
Sure.
So, after that, they approve it, and then you study for your exam, your citizenship, and then they give you an appointment, and then there's three things I feel like every human and every American should be, and this should is loosely, of course, but I think it would behoove them to attend or be part of. One is work in a service industry. Uh, Two, be part of a citizenship ceremony
Mm.
and how important it is for these people, and how hard they worked. It'll make you
Yeah.
cry. I don't care how big, how tough you are, it's gonna make you cry. When you see these fathers, these mothers holding up their kid with a flag and they made it and they finally here. And you'll notice that a lot of these people are not just Mexicans or whatever. They're from all around the world,
Mhm.
all around the world. In that room, there was 30 nations. It wasn't just one. We all look different. And so being part of that room is just like solidifies of what America is,
Mhm.
a melting pot of love and hope and growth,
Mhm.
And the last one is learning how to fight.
Well, I have two of those. I've worked in the service industry for about 10 years or so. And I'm trying to learn how to fight, still putting in the good work. But I'm glad you bring that up about attending something as meaningful as an immigration ceremony, because yeah, I can't imagine the weight in the room, just due to the emotions, and I can't imagine the stories that each of those individuals have. And that's just the start of it too, that it can be a new beginning for a lot of these individuals that had to kind of claw their way through to even get to that point. So
Mm.
very cool. Thank you for kind of walking me through that. I think that gives myself, and then hopefully others that hear this too, just a sliver of an idea of the complexity of what you and others had to go through, and that people are still continuing to kind of
Yeah.
go through.
The common resistance I also get, just to kind of like finish off this part, but often people will, if you were to do it the legal way, blah, 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 it's like even the legal way is extremely difficult, but also it's not in line to every administration. Every administration changes. It's like you're
Mhm.
telling me this is what you need to do to get your driver's license. And then next year, actually, this is how you wait to get your driver's license. The next administration, actually, this is what you need to do it. It always
Yeah.
changes. It's not
Yes.
so easy just to like to believe like, well, we should have just done it like the legal way.
Right. Yeah. And it is unfortunate that it is so politically driven. In a dream world, it would be nice that something could get really solidified that could provide opportunities to individuals in a compassionate way that is realistic, too. I mean, I think about just even where your skill set
Hmm.
was at that point, that you had even the level of education that you did. You had the support from your brother, and then dabbled in the attorneys, it seemed like, but even the drive to kind of like learn it on your own, where some people don't even have that,
Hmm.
and so I think, let's say you get through all this level of paperwork, the interview process, and then you get to the test, and I think about, like, hopefully there's a levels of accommodations and things like that from
Yeah.
that test, because I wouldn't imagine that is an easy one to take either. From I
You have
think
to
about
study.
myself even having to sit down and take this test, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh gosh, I would
Yeah.
have to study for months probably."
Yeah. Uh,
So
Thank you for
it's
acknowledging that. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
But the good thing now there's YouTube, so there's like YouTube preps, so they'll prep you for the questions and
That's cool.
yeah, and so the questions are interesting, about the dates and histories and the House, the Senate seats. You need to learn more about this country.
Yeah.
At a deeper
Yeah.
level. And I feel like that's why I feel like everyone should ideally attend one too.
Yeah.
Because like these questions are important, part of our institution, part of what the founding fathers believe in, and what we're trying to instill in this constitution, what we believe in, that
Yeah.
oath that we're taking. But yeah, I think it would benefit people as well too. So
Yeah.
what's like to kind of like usher us to, I guess, fighting or martial arts. When going back to DACA, when you decide to travel outside the country, you have to present a lot of paperwork, and for you to get the okay. So part of my growth in martial arts, I love Muay Thai, and I always want to go to Thailand. When I came to this country, I never had that. I couldn't leave the country. If I left, I'm no longer coming back.
Mhm.
But I knew that the Thailand was I needed to go. I need to advance my practice,
Mhm.
and I applied. I got rejected the first time. I applied again the second time with a lot more information. And one of my friends who was he works for the Brazilian diplomat. He wrote a letter and I provided more information and how to support for my education. So I applied the second time. I got the go. They gave me the go though, but it wasn't like you can pick any date. It's like these are the dates that I selected, but I knew only a month before. And it's not
Wow.
cheap
Right.
to buy flights when you don't have too much time to plan. And
Yeah.
also on that paper, and maybe some of your listeners can also resonate with this, if they're in the same situation I was or they're in, but like in the paper it said, we do not promise reentry. However, you
That's
do.
reassuring.
I know, right? So I took all my shit and just like with heart and courage. And I was like, I got my paper and I got a place to go and I left. I went to Thailand. And that was so awakening. And I was there for a month, exploring the whole country, training and growing, knowing that there's a possibility I couldn't come back. And I was like, fuck it, changed my life, fell in love with Muay Thai way more than I ever thought I would. And then I came back and at the Kennedy airport way longer than the typical, like, just go through walk in. Like
Right.
that's a sit in, all that stuff. But then I got re-entry. And because of that entry, Kaylee, this is how I also got my citizenship. Because they stamped my passport at legal re-entry, it was way easier for me to get my green card, my American citizenship, because they already approved me. Approved me to be here. So that was a hack my lawyer found. And I had no idea it would help me later down the road.
Right.
No
Right.
idea. Right? Like when I applied for my citizenship, my lawyer asked me, is like, when did you leave for Thailand? And I was like, this one. He was like, did you get lawfully reentered? I was like, yeah, I got. And they said, show me your passport. And they like right there in New York, blah, blah, blah. And he was just so excited. He was just like, this is it. This is your key. I had no idea how things would turn out, right? But because of
Yeah.
my younger self took that faith of leap,
Mhm.
I ended up now becoming American.
That's amazing. Would you say, because we went to Thailand and absolutely loved it. I mean, I wish we were there for a month, if not a few months. Would you say now, and I don't know how long ago this was that you went to Thailand, but like after experiencing something like that, I had realized, and we were very early on in our, Muay Thai careers, I guess you could say. We were maybe mm, striking for maybe 4 or 5 years, but Muay Thai for maybe two
Mm.
or three. And it was one of those where you go and you really get to be immersed in the culture and just some amazing people, really talented fighters, great energy. The weather's great. The food's great. I mean, I could go on and just rant and rave about what Thailand has to offer. That I feel very strongly saying, if anybody has any inkling or you love what Muay Thai has to offer, if you have the means at any point in your life, go to Thailand and check out some of these gyms. And yes, I know a few that we went into, of course, are getting kind of commercialized and very touristy, which I get it. I was one of them, but it was really special kind of going into some of these smaller ones that were not you know, quite to that
Mhm.
point of having hundreds of people in the class or anything. What would your experience or anything that you would add on to that as far as your experience that you had in Thailand?
Sure. I mean, now I go every year.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go
That's
back.
amazing.
I'm gonna go back December. So, and I'm
Cool.
affiliated to a couple of camps in Thailand. I'm just trying to be a good steward of the practice. We're
Yeah.
the beneficiaries here in America of a style that's been a very long time. And my experience the first time was kind of similar to yours, of just like how the culture, the traditions of it all. And I went to South, I went to the Koh Samui, I went to Phuket, I went to North Isan outside of Bangkok. So I think even though I've been there numerous times, I'm still new to the experience, right? I know
Mhm.
people who literally live the life there and
Yeah.
literally go for 3 months, 6 months, come back, make some money in America, go back to Thailand. So the little bit experience that I could share is it's great to see it grow, and it's
Mhm.
great that, the big gyms, I visited them before, I stay away from them, but the little gyms are it's a family,
Mhm.
it's a family. It's, from father to son, son to son, it's the whole family's
Mhm.
included, the mom's cooking for the fighters. I was for one of the gyms my most recent trip was Sanctino's gym outside of Bangkok. He's considered one of the best knee fighters. A lot of his influence is in my academy. He's about 40 minutes outside of Bangkok. A lot of his guys and girls fight for one, RWS, all the big shows, and it's just like it's not commercial. It's just work. The
Mhm.
mom and the son, they run the camp, and the mom cooks Thai food for lunch, Thai food for night for the fighters and guests. The son out there is holding pads and sparring. It's just a wonderful experience. I'm also affiliated to Spirit of Siam in Chiang Mai. And the same thing in Chiang Mai, same small gyms. I just think like the big gyms are great because it gives people an avenue just to start to practice. And eventually, as they
Mhm.
stay longer, they find something that's more meaningful for them.
Right.
Right now, like I have a Thai teacher. She's teaching me Thai, so I do video calls with her because she's on Thai. Um, it's like 12-hour difference. So her evenings are my mornings are evenings. So
Mhm.
another part of like learning the culture, I'm learning Thai. Um, uh,
That's awesome.
yeah, because once you learn someone's language, it means a lot to them. As a Hispanic, if you're trying to say how are you doing in Spanish, like it means
Mhm.
something to me. It means something to my people.
Yeah.
So like I want to do the same. If
Yeah.
I'm benefiting this lifestyle from you or from your culture, like I want to honor it.
Yeah.
And I think that I've had the trips to Thailand where full moon party, you have a fucking blast and it's fun and it's amazing and you get massages for $5 and you get all the healthiest food and the speed of life is so much slower. Um my pen right, you know what that means?
Mm-mm.
My pen right means no worries. Okay, my pen right. Sabay. You know what sabay?
Uh-uh.
Sabay means relax, get comfortable. Sabay, sabay. Sabay ka chai. Sabay di my krap, sabay di choi ma. So like I'm not faking this. I have a
Yeah.
lot here in America, a lot of Muay Thai coaches, and I'm not trying to distinguish myself better, but they'll buy a crew certification. They'll go to Thailand one time and then come back and make a shitload of money and never give it back
Mhm.
and don't give back to the art. And that upsets me.
Mhm.
Or they'll talk about themselves like, here I fight in this, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, what are you doing to give back? Are you
Yeah.
contributing back? Are you really learning the cultures and customs? And it's
Yeah.
okay to fake it till you make it, but eventually it's not gonna be cool because you're like
Yeah.
not setting up the art for success, especially now that American money is coming into the picture more than ever. Because before it wasn't what it is now. Now Muay Thai is, in my opinion, in my experience, is kind of moving into its new golden era.
Mhm.
So remember when the you play basketball, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. Remember when Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, the dream team?
Yes.
Okay, right. That was amazing time, right? So that was an era when you had the
Yeah.
greatest players. There was an era in Muay Thai where the greatest fighters of Muay Thai fought each other. That's called the golden era. And that was back in the 80s, early 90s, late 70s, early 90s at the end point. But that was at the time where the best Thais were fighting not only Thais, but the Europeans, the Dutch, the Ramon Deckers, the Caymans. That was also the time where the Thais would come to America and they had to prove their art and unified Muay Thai rules. So they couldn't elbow, they couldn't knee, but they had to prove their art here in America. So that was like the golden era of a lot of great opportunities, a lot of wealth for the country. And then it died down. And now I feel like it's coming back up with a lot of more tourists and a lot more opportunities with obviously social media and the communications we have. Now it's ramping back up. And so a lot of gyms are taking the opportunity, a lot of people are taking the opportunity to help the sport grow. If we all are
Right.
all like in line with the same goal of growth, but also keeping traditions that respect it, I think we're all being a great path for the sport and the art to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think just kind of stemming off of what you're just describing is I clearly can tell you're one of these like holistic individuals. You don't just, okay, I'm going to do the bare minimum, stay in my lane, and just ride with the comfortability of that. So let's kind of talk about your venture into all of these different avenues because yes, you fought professionally in MMA and in Muay Thai. But then you started getting certifications and diving into the coaching role. So you have certifications as a yoga teacher, you're a CrossFit trainer, you're a personal trainer,
Mhm.
you're a USA boxing coach. So,
Mhm.
what originally drove you to kind of seek training outside of Muay Thai instead of just staying in that single lane?
The path of mastery. And so when I was competing, also opportunistic too, right? So I love moving my body. It's one of my values. And so and then training, obviously you move your body, but you start getting more curious about what's more functional for me, what's more aligned to me. I the yin and yang of life, the fire and the water. And so I had a lot of fire from like my trauma as a kid and growing up and fighting with resistance. We're talking about like sparring and pad works and wrestling and all that stuff. And then, like I told you at the beginning, I'm not really a fighter. I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a part missing in me. And so uh, I was training for a fight. I blew my knee out, my complete knee out, ACL, MCL, everything. And I couldn't rely on my martial arts practice anymore. Luckily, I had a student of mine. She was a yogini. So she's like a yoga master. And so she got into the practice of martial arts because of the opposite. She needed fire, not the water.
Yeah.
And so I asked her, I was like, I want to learn yoga. Because and obviously I couldn't do hard shit too. So I needed a practice. And then I found a lot of spiritual, a lot of connection with the yoga practice. I learned it. I had really good teachers. It's still to my practice to this day. I do yoga twice a week. As I started entertaining that more, I ended up getting ready for fights. I had to up my training, not only like skill set, but also physicality. So I need to be a better athlete.
Mhm.
Be a better athlete, I have to learn how to move weight at a consistent rate and speed and explosiveness. And so I had to learn the performance of an athlete, of how to train for like an athlete. So I had
Mhm.
a strength conditioning coach. I hated his workouts more than sparring. His work, I would rather spar than do his strength conditioning workouts. But there was something that said, right? Because I'm like,
Mhm.
this is making me very uncomfortable. I don't know how to squat. I don't know how to do Olympic lifts. I don't know how to like move my body acceleration or feel my body to the functional maximum performance.
Mhm.
And that's how I got into CrossFit. I dabbled into it, competed at the super lowest level. But things that martial arts practice gave me, I was able to instill into yoga and the CrossFit and the personal training and the kettlebell training as well too. I'm a lifelong learner, so a lot of those things that helped me become a better coach as well too. It wasn't me seeking out these things to be a better coach. It was me seeking out to be a better athlete.
Yeah.
The idea of owning a school was never the goal of mine. And it was just me just becoming a better artist, and so I use these modalities to enhance my training. I really enjoy it. I still jump into a CrossFit workout or a WOD. Or I'll jump into just traditional working out. I'll do yoga practices. I used to teach. Teaching yoga was difficult
I can imagine.
because it's not so much the sequence or the sun salutations, but it was because I couldn't distinguish my voice. Because
Mm.
on the mat, I have a specific voice and tone, but in the yoga practice room, it was not needed. that same that same energy. And I remember my teacher told me, like, imagine you have a kitty cat in your hands and you're petting it. And so I was
Uh,
teaching
so
like,
you're saying that in your yoga classes you weren't ooh wee or
yeah, it
anything like
wasn't
that.
like double kick, go. You know, it was more it was more alignment. And then she
Yeah.
was teaching me to find that feminine in me. And I think that's important. I've been trying to push that away, but I realized that a good leader can navigate those both, the masculinity and the
Mhm.
femininity of life and of oneself. And so I was able to engage with that. Uh,
Yeah.
and you don't see too many male yoga instructors.
Yeah.
And she brought up a good point that, like, you as a male instructor know fighting, you know extreme resistance and pain. You know,
Mhm.
it's not violence, of course, but use that. You have a baseline that many instructors don't have.
Mhm.
And you can talk about the fire. You can talk about hard things because you do hard things.
Mhm.
And so I use that to teach. I don't teach
That's
anymore.
cool.
I do have it in my academy. One of our instructors just left, our yoga instructor, but we're actually hiring a new yoga instructor. That's important to me to have that class in the
Yeah.
academy.
What a great resource. That would be awesome
Yeah.
to have a part of it. So tell me about that transition from fighter to coach because I'm sure there was a little bit of an identity shift.
Hmm.
So was there a specific moment when you realized you were ready to
Yeah.
make that switch?
Yeah. Yeah. So um I lost one of my professional fights and I fought for the wrong reasons. I was trying to prove a point. I just got a bad breakup and I just felt like I needed to dive into something and it was not the right reason. So but I also realized in that loss that I fought someone. He's right now the current CFFFC and the current LFA champ and the current this guy has all the titles, man. He's fought for PFL.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so this guy's a big deal, and I trained my fucking butt off. I brought in the best. I brought in Ryan Hall. I brought in the best fighters, the best grapplers from my camp to get ready for this, and he just fucking wowed me. And I realized that there's levels to it.
Mhm.
As much as I can train my butt off and be prepared for everything, there's still that X factor that cannot be explained. And so understanding that is important. And I was in the best shape, the best skill, the best experience, and then I still couldn't get there. And that's the X factor that I realized I was like, okay, I can pursue this for more years, but do I want that in my heart?
Mhm.
And I realized I don't.
Yeah.
At the same time, I was coaching people. And I realized because of the plethora of skills that I have, I was a good coach.
Mhm.
And I think I led with more curiosity than command. Um, And so as I started transitioning, I knew that I have like I don't have one more fight. There's one more in me before I turn 40 for sure. And I'm putting that on the podcast. But
No going back now.
yeah, 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 yeah. But my last fight, I had a really good mentor. His name's Richard. He's in his 70s. Very successful real estate, very successful guy in many ways. He was one of my students. Every Sunday morning at 6:30 or 7 a.m., I'll meet Richard at the gym, and he's ready to go and training. And I told him I have one more fight to go, and this opportunity came up to fight the MGM Grand, and like so I was just I got to take the opportunity. Like this is the one that I want to go. I trained my butt off, and Richard was telling me, he's like, Danny, you want to be the guy that rides in the sunset and is happy and your soul is content. Because like this guy brought up so many avenues, as a venture capitalist, and he knew like when to tap out, when to step
Mhm.
back. So he was kind
Mhm.
of teaching me when to do it, when to transition.
Mhm.
My opponent was great. He was a great fighter, great camp. We went all 3 rounds. I displayed my Muay Thai, I displayed my wrestling, I displayed my grappling, my jiu-jitsu. I displayed all arts. I won, and then he turned to me after a couple of weeks. We got back to the mat, and he was like, "Are you gonna ride to the sunset?" And
Mhm.
my heart, my soul was content.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yes. Then it wasn't a hard transition, Kaylee. I think a lot of coaches have that because if I'm not a fighter, what do I do?
Mhm.
Right? It's like because there's a lot of insecurity or
Yeah.
lack of guidance,
Yeah.
And so I was very fortunate to have someone in their 70s who's lived a life and gave me that guidance of like, this is when you ride to the sunset.
Yeah. And how beautifully explained and said, because you see this, and I'm sure you notice it more as a competitive fighter, but I think about just as I watch some of these professional fighters out there, and that's always what the commentators are talking about. And these athletes, like, oh, he might retire, the kind of the battle between, I'm sure, just the mental battle and the physical battle of ultimately making that decision. And what a hard one. I can't put myself in those shoes. I have no idea the level of it, but I'm sure you bring up a good point too. It is not so much of where they're at in that exact present moment, but what is life going to look like after, and that uncertainty of it. But I just am one of those where I just want everybody to go off on a high note. And so what you're just saying is like when you kind of can self-reflect and connect with yourself and really know like, okay, this is my sunset and it's time for me to just get on the horse and go.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I think sometimes I would imagine some people see that sunset and think, oh, there's many more sunsets to come.
Yeah, the goal.
And so,
No, you're right, Kaylee. The goalpost just kept getting pushed forward, and then you start forgetting why the reason you got involved in this.
yeah. Yeah, very cool. So, how did some of those setbacks in business, once you kind of got rolling with it? Well, I guess you were coach.
Mhm.
When did the opportunity come to
Having
open
school?
up your own spot?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I always been an entrepreneur. My grandma was she owned a store in Bolivia. My mom, like, it's not so much like my whole life. My whole family's an entrepreneur, but I'm a terrible employee. I kind of knew that working from job to job, and sometimes I would overshow the boss, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You kind of want to be underneath the boss. But I started my first program in Washington D.C. called Fight Strong. I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I was a good coach, but as the structure, the SOPs, the quarterly check-ins, everything like that, all the standard procedures of learning how to build a business organization and leadership, I had no training, and so I led with passion. So,
Hmm.
which is cool, right? And then
Yeah.
I had no curriculum. It's going looking back to me like, oof, I feel bad for those students. But I ended up being somewhat successful. I was at a CrossFit gym. We shared the space, and I had a couple of winners. I had a couple of champions, Muay Thai fighters, champions training with us, and but that closed down. I decided to move to Los Angeles. I met a girl. She lived in LA. I moved out to LA, and I continued my practice there in grappling and jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, everything there. Opportunities rise to manage schools. When I started managing schools, I started seeing the back end of things.
Mm.
And I think that's a lot of part that a lot of fighters have a hard transition in a business because you need more skill sets than just to punch and choke.
Hmm.
Those skill sets are non-negotiable if you want to be a successful leader, entrepreneur, or coach. And I've been very fortunate to manage teams, manage schools for other people. Nakapong from Horn for Beta Academy, from Capital MMA to Ekata Training Center. So I was very fortunate to learn all these things from people. Again, I never went to college, never had a business degree, never had a business training. So I was able to learn these things, and apply them, learn. And then I went to actually, I'm gonna take a pause here because I think this is also about help a lot of the listeners understand too the whole reason for Denver Muay Thai. But I kind of was burned out of the whole game of martial arts and all of that. I decided to get just a regular fucking 9 to 5 job. The hiatus was the best thing I did because
Mm.
sometimes it's the sunk cost fallacy. Have you heard of that?
Uh-uh.
Sunk cost fallacy is when you're so invested in something, you're not willing to give it up, and you believe this is the only thing you can do. And a lot of fighters believe that because they spent 10 years getting their black belt, this is the only thing I can do. And so you start believing in that. And so and like I see that with a lot of owners and business and training partners that I put so much years into this, I cannot give that up. but you have to know when, if this is really aligned to where you want to go in life. After LA, I decided to get a regular job at 9 to 5. I was like, I know that's all I did. I know I have some shit and some credentials, but I'm sure I could do other things. And so I worked for a co-working space, like a WeWork.
Okay.
And I was a health and fitness consultant. So I was advising their health and wellness programs. And I was more of a consultant. There wasn't really like, a lot of much time to it, but they flew me out of Denver. I interviewed and, I really worked my butt off to interview great. I interviewed great and I beat all the candidates. Not having a college degree, I was like, oh shit, I did, I got it. Um, they hired me. They took a chance on me. And then I came to Denver 2018 and I started my 9 to 5 job. And I was training maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. I decided to give myself a close to a year just to be, I don't want to say normal, but just to not be involved in this whole um, unstoppable motion of martial arts training, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Right.
And I just went to happy hour, went to hike, went to do the things, I went to have walks in the middle of the day, like things that I never had done before, because usually you're teaching at night,
Mhm.
right? Or doing things on weekend. Like I never really had weekends off because I worked at a restaurant or I had to teach on the weekends or I had to have private lessons or personal training lessons. So I had weekends off. I can,
Yeah.
get up early and do things. COVID hit because I was part of the lowest team. I was like, go. And so I wasn't able to have my job anymore. So I was in a space where like, okay, I had a good run. I had a good time of living that life. And I had to ask myself,
Mhm.
what is it I want? The consulting that you mentioned about Muay, it's called Muay Thai for the Soul, the LLC. Yeah. So like one of the parts that are in the beginning of the podcast, Muay Thai for the
Mhm.
Soul is the first thing that aligned to me. It was like, it's not fighting for belts. It's not fighting for validation. It's more for the soul. So that's my first business was here in Denver was Muay Thai for the Soul. And it
Okay.
was personal training, one-on-ones. And I went to find a spot. I rented a very, very small space and I just put my flag up and like, I'm doing business if anyone's interested to learn. And the opportunity just came way, way more than I expected to.
And this was during 2020, COVID.
Yeah, a little bit after.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. Cause like a lot of
What
the
a
gyms were closed.
time to
Yeah.
go, jump off the ledge and pursue something like that. Really though, because that was a tough time for established businesses. I can't even imagine, let alone somebody that's like, okay, I'm going to start something up new
Yeah.
during the chaos of all of this. So,
Yeah. I would give a lot of credit to my wife. You know, when I got let go, she's like, like, it seems like you missed this. And it seems like you're really good at this. You've been talking about this for a while, which I have.
mhm,
Cause I ended up like, after a couple of months being that 9 to 5, I just like, I knew that this was not for me. It was
mhm,
a steady paycheck and it's great, but it was like, my ikigai is not being aligned.
mhm.
And so I was just like, I think this is my calling to get back to it. But she supported me, financially and time wise also. So I took off there and I ended up having a lot of great students from all walks of life, personal training or martial arts, and people who were fighting at the fighting scene heard that I opened shop and then a lot of fighters came to me. And before, when I'm my younger age, I would jump on any opportunity. But at this point, I think I felt built a good credential where I don't need that. I can say no to
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
It's not longer a line. But I had some fighters, and then we traveled around the world. We competed. I ended up learning that I'm actually a really good coach, and I'm proud to say I'm a world class coach.
Yeah.
Um, and then eventually it came to the point that we're like, okay, how do I impact more lives? Obviously, my one on one business is good. My consulting is good. I was flying out to other academies, consulting them in their programs and their procedures. So I got the chance to go to Bermuda, Canada, Puerto Rico. So I was able to consult with other academies, and I didn't know that this is how I came up. Like you train and you grow.
Mhm.
I didn't know that other people didn't have the same like
Mhm.
opportunity like I did.
Yeah.
And then I opened my first, or I opened the school up with a business partner that didn't work out. It was named something different. And I got rid of him. Um, and I didn't have a name. And here in Denver, we do have great Muay Thai schools. We do. We have a lot of great Muay Thai schools. We have a lot of great jiu-jitsu schools too.
Hmm.
And Muay Thai is a city, and obviously there's a lot of competition too. But no one really owned the name Denver Muay Thai. And I was just like, that's the moment where I stuck my flag, or like my pull down. It was just like, I am Denver Muay Thai.
Mm.
Like, I'm not faking this. I go to Thailand. I've trained. I've competed. I teach. I grow. I learn the cultures. I am not faking this. I am
Hmm.
Denver Muay Thai. And so I opened shop, and here we are 2 years later. My facility, I'm not reaching to get as many members. And this is by design, Kaylee. Um, my school, there's an enrollment time and there's no enrollment time. Not anyone can sign up anytime they want. I'm very
Mm.
not specific, but like I want to see my people grow. So I have a
Yeah.
cap of students. There's a magic number in the business where like 100 students, right? And like I get it because like it is a business. You want to be profitable. You want to be on the
Sure.
plus side of things. But again, like I told you at the beginning, I don't care less about fighters. I have fighters, but
Hmm.
it's more like, am I really reaching the impact and really doing the right thing? So I cap classes, I cap
Mm.
members, I lead leadership team trainings for my team. You know,
Yeah.
it all starts from leadership. And so these things were aligned to me more than ever. And so it just generally grew to where we are now, where right now, as we speak, like we're at our max. And
Yeah.
so there is no enrollment. You can email me, we can talk about it, blah, blah, blah. And then open enrollment starts March 1st. Um, so that's like Denver Muay Thai is about.
Yeah. Super interesting, Daniel. But I mean, as you're explaining this, it makes sense from a longevity standpoint too, because I think when people go into a business and are entrepreneurs, it is like they open the gates and eventually, of course, you want a flooding of business, but to an extent, right?
Mhm.
If you are consistently getting flooded with business, that's going to take from who you are too, and being able to provide the best services that you can for your students, which is ultimately what you want. And to see their growth, you can't have 300 students in a class and expect to give all your attention to any Joe Schmo, because I'm sure as you have these students come in, they're all on different levels of the spectrum as far as athletes and competitors, people who are interested in fighting, who aren't interested in fighting. And so you have to shift as a coach within minutes, I'm sure, within a training session. And so
Yeah.
it's a lot of hats that you have to wear. And so I think that's smart as a business owner. Takes a lot of courage, though, and like belief in yourself and what you have to offer
Mhm.
to take that approach that you are doing. Because I've never heard of something like that. But as you explain it, it makes sense.
Yeah. I think because of my CrossFit training and because of my yoga instructor training and all of my martial arts training, I've garnered so many perspectives of how to grow. And in the teaching side of things, I got to do what's called Kovar's instructor training. It's the gold standard of a successful martial arts school. He does these trainings in California. He has many schools in California. He travels around the country and the world. And he is literally the gold standard. Like I give a lot of like respect in my success because of this training.
That's cool.
And I think that's a part also as well that can, the whole saying of quality over quantity. And I think
Exactly.
I fully believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and building a specific program, guidance, and protocols, and check-ins, and using your team, right, putting people in the right places, the right seats, and helping them and nurturing them, helping them grow, teaching them how to be leaders. Like I would have, I like Keenan Cornelius. That's his name, right? Or like,
I have no idea.
okay, he's like a big jiu-jitsu guy. All right, give me
Okay.
a name of a big martial arts guy you know who's famous, competitive.
I mean, John Jones. I think
Not
of a
just okay,
lot of.
cool. Okay. Yeah. So let's say okay. So let's say John Jones, and this is like a kind of just for fun. Say John Jones wants to come in and be like, "Hey, Danny, I want to teach at your school." I'm gonna be like, "No," because you don't know our culture, you don't know the procedures, you don't know. You're a great athlete. Can you teach? Probably, but can you teach at different denomination levels and needs? People are not here to hear about you. They want to learn how you can help them.
Mhm.
And so those are the things that I feel like that really helped me as grow as a business. Eventually, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna move to another location to be bigger, but I don't want to lose those core values in our
Mhm.
academy that we have. I don't want to lose our mission
Yeah.
that we have instilled.
Yeah. I love that. Great example too. So, explain to me if somebody walks into Denver Muay Thai,
Mhm.
what do you have to offer? What are kind of what's the schedule like? Because you already
Sure.
said something else that's kind of unique about your place is offering yoga, which
Yeah.
is super cool. Can you explain a little bit more about what your
What we
culture and environment is like?
Yeah, great. Actually, this was also no strategic move. So I'm inside of a big fitness building where there's like strength conditioning, there's physical therapy. We are the martial arts department. So it's like a Costco of training. This gives
Okay.
my athletes and my students the accessibility to also do many things. Like I come from a athletic training background as well too.
Mhm.
So usually what I offer them is like if you were to be interested in training with us, Kaylee, like first you look at our website. We have a call. You and I have a 15-minute call. And I ask you about what are your goals, your interests, and then it's me. It's not my admin team. It's
Mhm.
not my student liaison. It's me.
Mhm.
You call, I talk to you because I want to steward you to the right place. If this is what you're
Mhm.
looking for, go to this place. This is what you're looking for, go to this place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste your energy and your money. I want to find the place that's best for you. If it's not with me, it's great. No
Yeah.
harm, no foul. I want to find a place that's good for you. We do a call and then eventually our classes in the afternoon. We do have 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu classes. We have an amazing black belt who teaches at my academy. I stopped teaching jiu-jitsu. I still train consistently, but I stopped teaching it because I knew that Muay Thai is my art to teach.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes I do teach jiu-jitsu when I need to, but for the most part, I leave it to the professor.
Yeah.
He's the expert. Plus, he beat me up in the tournament. That's how I hired him. Guy tapped me out in a minute. I was like, "What do you do?
And do you want a job?
Do you want a job?"
That's funny.
Yeah, but we have jiu-jitsu classes. It's our smaller program, but it's a great program as well. Our flagship is Muay Thai. We offer fundamentals, intermediate, and advanced. Now, Muay Thai does not have belts, and 100%, honestly, you know that there is no belt system. We do have a ranking system that helps our students progress. These belts are not how many classes you attended. It's I literally evaluate you and be like, you're here, you're here, you're here. This is the
Mhm.
gold of like why we're small.
Mhm.
Or in a bigger gym, they'll just go back to their CRM, their customer relation management system. They'll look how many classes you attended, and they're like, okay, cool, you're ready for your yellow belt,
Mhm.
right? Which is fine. Which is fine. I get it.
Mhm.
It's fine. But for me, it's like, no, you're this belt.
Mhm.
You're this rank, right? And so you'll come in, you'll do a orientation with my student liaison. She's like your if you were to go to college, there's a liaison or I
Yeah.
have one. I have two. So they escort you, they teach you the culture, how to get on the mat, off the mat. They teach you some fundamentals. They stay with you throughout the class. Because our smaller program, our classes cap at 14. And every class has two instructors. So if you do the math, for every one instructor, there's seven people, which means probability wise, you're going to get good feedback. If it's a
Mhm.
class of 30 and 20, great energy, great excitement. But if it's one instructor, it's a problem solved. It's a math issue. You won't get
Mhm.
the same individualized.
Right.
So then our student liaison passes you to your experience of your class, and then the instructor meets you. They're with your class. After your first class, we take off the training wheels and okay, your free week starts. And then you come to any class you like, except for
Mhm.
an immediate advance. You can sit in and watch. After the week, we check in and be like, hey man, like what do you think? And if you like it, great. If you don't like it and you feel like this is something else you want, okay, go to this place.
Mhm.
We're very proud of what we have.
Yeah.
We'll try what we're about. And like I said, like John Jones can come in my building and want to teach. I'd be like, nope, you don't get it.
Yeah. And so looking back, is there anything that you wish you would have known before opening your gym and or
Oh,
that you would have changed
100% sure.
how
Oh,
you approach
100%
that?
sure. Many things. Many things. One is, and maybe your listeners could they have the inspiration to open their own school. You have to see yourself as that leader. And it's very difficult to believe in yourself at first to open up your own academy. Because then there's going to be so many back end like I don't have enough titles, I don't have enough experience, I don't have a blah, I don't have a blah. It's very difficult, but first see yourself as that leader, as that person. Secondly, don't get a business partner. Well, I mean, this is my personal experience, but I felt like I needed a business partner to to be a launch pad to
Mhm.
get me going because I
Right.
didn't believe in myself.
Yeah.
And so I felt like someone else can help me with it. But it was all inside me the whole time.
Mhm.
And I realized that. And mind you, there are great partners too in business. I'm not saying it's impossible, but find a partner that it's not about the money. It's not about if they're a 6 degree black belt. Fuck all that.
Mhm.
How is their integrity? And how do they treat the low the cleaning people, the waiters,
Mhm.
like the service people.
Mhm.
So I think if I were to do something different, I would get a partner that has those attributes, not so much like the credentials or the finance support,
Sure.
because those things are not as important really in the end. And then as another hurdle is learn to forgive. Learn that it's a transient industry, I guess I can about there to say. If people leave, it's not personal.
Mhm.
If people leave your academy, it's not personal. You're doing them a favor because they're finding somewhere else.
Mhm.
Never be afraid to fire a student, you know? And so I think
Mhm.
that's the other part that was hard for me. When people were leaving my life, I took it personal.
Mhm.
And I'd be like, what did I do? Or I guess I got to offer more this and offer that. It's like,
Sure.
but it's more like, no, see, they're off in their own path and it's not personal at all. And
Right.
however longer time I've been with that person, I hope I did my best and I wish them the absolute best on their journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how you kind of bring up that emotional just resiliency. Cuz I'm sure there's just constant questions and maybe things that you'll never have truly the answers to until you just try.
Right, right.
And being able to let go of some of that, uncertainty and knowing that you are in a business where it's all about the people.
The people.
And so you have all walks of life, I'm sure, coming into your doors that you're having to provide your services that you believe in.
Yeah, I think that one thing another friend of mine and I think now applying it really it's helpful for me. If anyone out there wants to open a school, make one of your weeknights just for yourself. Like usually we teach 5 days a week, right? There's 5 classes. And then
Mhm.
one of the best advice I got is that pick one day where you don't teach in your midweek. Because it's just like fighting, there's always going to be another competition. There's always going to be another fight. It's an infinite game. It's same
Mhm.
thing in business. It's an infinite game. So you need infinite
Yeah.
strategies. And so allowing me to hire my jiu-jitsu instructor, allowing me to have another crew, a female crew in my school and let her teach gives me the freedom of like, I'm going to go for a hike or
Mhm.
I'm just going to sit on my ass and watch Netflix,
Yeah.
and then honoring what I need. Every day I journal, I recite my affirmations, I read, and I make a phone call to a friend every single day. That's not negotiable for me. And
I
that
love that.
and then that enlightens my soul because when you do this for so long, you start getting burned out.
Mhm.
You do this so long, you start doing it for the wrong reasons. And so I think those things personally for me, journaling, my affirmations, reading, and calling a friend has kept me in line
Yeah.
during the really hard times. It's inevitable. You are going to have extremely hard dips.
Yeah.
Morning at school,
Yeah.
personal life. There's going to be times your students are way better than you. That's a good thing. Your students kicking your ass. That's a great thing. There are going to be competitive schools that are talking shit about you. It's because they're afraid of you. Um, and then there's times where you'll be like, "Oh, they're the best school, like they're the best school," and then you start putting down yourself, like, what's better than best, Kaylee?
Mhm. That is the question.
Only.
Explain.
There's a lot of great schools here in Denver, and we have a lot of high level fighters. Gaethje, you name it, like Trevor Whitman's here, Dwayne Ludwig's here,
Mhm.
a lot of top names, right? And so to be like, I need to be at their level, I need to have their credentials, it goes back to like, I'm not serving people. It's more just my own ego. And so I don't need to be the best. I need to be the only. What is the
Mm,
few things, the only thing I provide that they don't provide? What's
I
better
love
than
that.
best? Only. Because
So good.
I'm the only Daniel in the world.
Yeah. Which makes sense too. I love when you were explaining the name behind Denver Muay Thai, and it's super simple. There's nothing flashy, nothing
Yeah.
like an inner meaning that you have to interpret
Yeah.
yourself and all this stuff. It is what it is. And I can tell it has a big meaning to you,
Yeah.
is identifying that you are Denver Muay Thai and what you have to offer. Is that. And so I feel like that resonates with this kind of only standpoint that you're taking, which is super cool.
Thank you. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. I think it was hard to own that name. I was like, what if people say like, then I realized, no, no, this is what I am. I walk the walk. I train every
Yeah.
day, and I don't compete anymore, but I train and I give back to my community. I still learn. I'm still teaching. I just went to a seminar in Chicago last weekend. Again, I did a seminar with Yofin. He's like considered one of the best clinchers in Muay Thai. He's like, I guess, the highest level clincher in the game of the world. And so I flew out to Chicago, did a scrimmage, officiated. I'm also an official too, so I judge and ref Muay Thai fights. So I officiated Muay Thai, so I know the scoring system. And that's another huge conversation I have here in America because have you ever competed in jiu-jitsu, Kaylee?
Yes.
Okay, cool. How many points is mount?
I was just going to say, I went in and I still, to this day, I go in to every competition not knowing shit about the scoring
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
I have no idea about the point
Okay.
system at all. And I mean, I feel like each one are kind of different too,
Yeah.
which I found out.
Yeah.
So I go in with more of a survival mode and get a submission.
Right, right. Which is a great approach, right? It's like, yeah. But once you know the game, you can bend the game, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I think generally a lot of associations or organizations can say that 4 mounts is points there's 4 points is for mount, right? In Muay Thai in America, it's like, I don't know.
No, I believe you.
But in Muay Thai, not a lot of people know the scoring system and the criteria of the scoring system. And so it's my job as a steward of this practice is to educate people of the Muay Thai scoring system. It's not MMA. It's not kickboxing. A lot of these scoring criteria was just imposed because the State Athletic Commission didn't have education of the Muay Thai scoring system. So they had to expedite on what works to use a lot of background of boxing. I studied boxing because I wanted my guys to be better at boxing. I went in Colorado, we have the Olympic Training Center in
Mhm.
Colorado Springs. So I would drive an hour from Denver and learn from these guys. And eventually I learned so much that I wanted to become a certified USA coach. Now it's a very
Mhm.
minimal certification. It's like green. There's levels to it. So, but
Okay.
I put in my time to become green,
Mhm.
like very small, but I learned the game. And a lot of people can distinguish between boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. They're their own sport, and then their own scoring criteria, and then their own favoritism and strategies and tactics that need to be
Mhm.
applied into these things. And so I think that as a coach and as a gym owner and as a school owner, it's very important to learn these things,
Mhm.
right? And so I think that's the other part of the benefit about being a coach as well and being a school owner is that I have the freedom now to attend seminars and grow and bring it back to my team. Something that I didn't have growing up. To me, it was like knock them out.
Right.
you know?
Just as simple as that, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was simple as that.
So is that what motivated you, Daniel, to take on that role and to try and become a judge and a ref?
Yeah, because yeah, Kaylee, yeah, because there was a few incidents in my Muay Thai students. We lost fights, and I was just so baffled of how do we lose that? And this is from another great coach, not mine. Don't let the wins go to your head, and don't let the losses go to your heart.
Mm,
And so the wins are for them, the losses are for me. And so when they win, they win. I'm happy for them. I celebrate you. The losses are for me, guys.
mm,
And so I had to learn why did we lose such thing, and then I ended up investigating and being certified by different organizations. Shout out to Pete Peterson, the gold standard of Muay Thai education in the scoring system from Thailand to here in America. Also he trains the WBC, you name it. He's like the guy. He's been my mentor who taught me how to officiate and coach. And as a former athlete, I know how much these fighters put in work. As a former athlete, I know how much sacrifice these guys put in. It
mhm,
would not be fair to judge a fight and not give them the chance and really to understand how to win or how to lose or why they won and why they lost. Because this is not a game. Fighting is not a game, it's risk. I literally seen someone die in the ring last year.
mm,
This is not a game. And so as a coach, it is my responsibility and as a steward of Muay Thai is to learn this game at a deeper level, keep them safe, and then give them the opportunity to perform and be given the answers why they lost.
mhm. So, obviously that shifted how you coach. Do
Yeah.
you feel like that really touched when you're trying to direct and kind of guide some of these fighters more on like pacing strategies, composure, how to read a fight? Is it
Yeah.
more in the moment of a fight? Like, what did you get to take from
Yeah.
being a judge and a referee to now, hey, now that I know kind of these dirty little secrets, we can
Yeah.
take it and use it?
Yeah, it does give you an advantage. And it's like what are the most often used tools in the first 30 seconds? And then you start seeing the common pattern on like what tools are used, what tactics are used. At
Mhm.
the lower level, it's not that extremely useful because you just don't know your left from your right. Your stress inoculation is high.
Sure.
You're just swinging for the fences and trying to survive. However, we
Yeah.
can implement just like 30% of what we've worked and we know the rules, we know the engagement. I think we'll be ahead. More
Mhm.
importantly, we'll be safe. As you advance deeper into the game, as different classes, then you start really seeing the strategy. You really know how
Yeah.
to stall. You know what the refs are looking for a stalling position. You know what the refs are looking for, certain tactics in the ring. You know what the judges are looking for, what favoritism they're looking for, exactly how to move or counter. So at
Mhm.
the higher level, it's definitely more applied. At the lower
Yeah.
level, it's less. It's more
Yeah.
about cardio and safety.
Sure.
My curriculum is designed in a sport approach. Even though I have a Krav Maga certification, I do still teach in a more of a sport application of Muay Thai. Like the most recent podcast I did, they asked me like, "What's your favorite combination?" And I said, "I don't have a favorite combination. I can tell you about concepts and principles, but I can't. I don't have. That's a that's not like I don't have a favorite combination." And I tell my
Yeah.
students that we're not doing favorite combos. We're doing practical application under stress.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you explain a little bit of what it takes to be a judge and a referee? Like how
Yeah.
did you decided to pursue this? What was the training like? And then do you have a preference? Like if you are going to go out and help at some of these, tournaments or
Yeah.
fights, would you rather be a ref or would you rather be a judge?
Oh, ref every day.
Okay.
You're right in that mix. You're right in that energy. It's a beautiful moment. Like is the rawest vulnerability in it. The eye contact, the smell, the energy. You're right there. It's
Mhm.
such a graceful thing to be a part of in those two people's lives. And you're letting them dance and you're letting them
Mhm.
express themselves. And you're right there. when you grab their hand, they win and they're shaking because they know they won and they're like so happy.
Mhm.
And then you raise their hand and you see their tears coming down the eyes and you feel that. And the mom's cheering right there and she's crying, she's laughing, and it's like, that's it. That's what life is
Mhm.
about. And these
Yeah.
moments, these small moments of happiness and just being part of it. Judging is great. Judging is tough because there's different POVs as a judge because you have
Mhm.
different people applying to different judges. So what I can
Mhm.
see, the judge tuning may not see. So it's a lot more stressful.
Mhm.
But when you're refing, it's more alive because you're there. You're not thinking about too much about it. You're like just there with them. You're facilitating a space for them to dance
Mhm.
or violence. But
Oh, that was so beautifully said. I was literally getting goosebumps as you were describing this whole. I was
yeah,
like, "Do I want to be a ref?" Oh wait, no, I don't. But
yeah, I mean, some of my students don't want to fight, and I tell them that there's many opportunities in Muay Thai not to fight. You can pass the art. You can, if you're an artist, you can draw and paint up Muay Thai. You can make a side income off of that, right? You can monetize that. You become a ref and a judge. You can become a great ref and judge. You don't want to fight. Fighting is not the only avenue. There's many
right.
ways to support and contribute into the sport and this art. To become one, of course, I'm going to be biased about this, but like Pete Peterson holds certifications across the country, and he is a 3-day intensive course, and then usually when you go through his course, you do a lot of videotape, you do a lot of scoring, and then you like start off very, very low at the smaller shows, scrimmages we call them, and then like the more smaller smokers, and then like the in-house competition stuff, and then like the local competition stuff, and then the amateurs, and then eventually the amateurs with a bigger levels, and then eventually you might do an amateur with the co-main event, and then you
Mhm.
progress. Now you're doing the main event, and then next you progress to become a professional, doing
Mhm.
professional shows. It takes years. It's an art.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
similar to more martial arts. So I, like anyone else, I'm a white belt, so I want to start here. And so I ended up becoming one of the benefits for me because I'm a former fighter. Again, like I know what these athletes are go through. So I had a
Mhm.
level of respect for that. I After that course, then usually you would go to other organizations and be like, I've done Pete's course. Um, I this is how many hours I want to volunteer. You volunteer, they might put you in, most likely you won't. You might be just being the bell guy. Ding,
Mhm.
right? You might just be a shadow of a judge, but you're still getting reps in.
Yeah.
And then eventually they'll give you a shot and be like, hey, can you judge or can you ref? And then you do your best, you get more reps in, you keep studying tape. Um, and then you're really invested in it, you become a better judge, better ref. I ref and judge for IKF, WBC, WKA, TBA, WAKO. So I'm fortunate that a lot of these organizations trust my work and they trust me with their athletes to help them grow and build. And so I think that's like having so many skill sets as a business owner, as a former professional fighter, amateur world champion, all these modalities of movement. I think it all that trained me for this.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so now I can hopefully pass this art and knowledge to the next generation.
Yeah. What are some misconceptions that you think fighters or spectators often have about either judging or reffing that you wish maybe more people knew or understood?
It depends on the sport. Are you talking about MMA or Muay Thai or boxing or in general?
Maybe in general. I mean, I'm assuming because you strictly are doing.
Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
anything, because I don't know about all those different organizations, but
Mhm.
when I first went to Muay Thai Smokers and then some of these amateur fights and a couple of professional, it's very traditional. Some of them can be. And so I think even that side of things too, I don't know as a ref or a judge if you have to I guess adjust to any of those dynamics. But maybe just speak to what you feel like as far as misconceptions fighters or people have for Muay Thai judges or
Yeah, yeah.
refs.
Okay. So the misconceptions that we hear see often is that aggression wins fights.
What
Now,
was that?
aggression wins fights, but aggression without impact or damage, it makes no sense. Suppose that I threw like 1,000 punches, but they're not causing damage. So a lot of people think like volume, 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 but if the volume that has no effect, then it doesn't score or it doesn't have effect, right?
Mhm.
So that's one misconception I get often is like people just like your guy was busy and wild, but there was no impact. There was no broken of structure.
Mhm.
Um, or like takedowns. And this one that really like I get upset about because we live in a very social media like clickbait, whatever, grab your
Yeah.
moment 5 seconds kind of moments like sweeps. In Muay Thai, sweeps are allowed. However, they don't score more. People think they do they should, and then the crowd goes, ah, right?
Mhm.
Well, it's not the same as a punch. It's like a sweep is just a strike because you're kicking their leg off the ground and they're laying on the
Mhm.
floor. Does it show dominance? It could be if or nay, depending on the judge,
Mhm.
depending on many variables, but it's not does not score more. A kick does not score more than a punch. The reason people win kick on kicks is because what weighs naturally more, an arm or a leg? A leg. A leg has more impact than a punch. The same thing could be said. You can throw a super weak kick, but no impact. And the guy punches
Mhm.
you, they're going to give it to the guy who punches because he has more impact. So
Mhm.
usually, if it would behoove an athlete to learn these things and a coach to learn these things. And clinching is also another part too. It's like you don't get points pulling them down. You get points for damage. You got
Mhm.
a knee, you got an elbow. And I think the last part is that the casual person, it's hard for them to distinguish Muay Thai from MMA.
Mhm.
Now, I fought MMA. I fought professional MMA. I don't like MMA, and I'm not a fan of UFC. And that's its own conversation for some other time.
Mhm.
But the average person just watches UFC. And so they use the same eyes in Muay Thai and they think it's
Mhm.
the same. Where like, oh, the takedown, like it's just a sweep. It doesn't score.
Mhm.
Oh, the guy was being aggressive. It was like, no, the guy defended it all. He was
Mhm.
able to mitigate the damage and he was scoring more. The last part is one of the things I fell in love with Muay Thai, it's beauty, the art. You see a beautiful kick, a beautiful knee, that's art. In Muay Thai, going down the criteria of scoring, the the look of it is also important.
Mhm.
It has to look like pretty. That's part of it, especially in Thailand. It's very important that it looks like Muay Thai. I'm
Mhm.
not saying every shot's gonna be pretty, but if it's like if both fighters have the same impact, if both fighters have good control of each other, both fighters don't show a lot of fatigue, then you go down the criteria of who looks better,
Mhm.
a lot cleaner is the better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I like how you bring up that people that may be new to martial arts or fanatics of UFC but haven't kind of dove down any other tracks of striking or the arts. I have just even learned a lot over the years of when you compare the difference even from just the striking arts. Take UFC out of it where there's no grappling and you compare kickboxing, Muay Thai and boxing. Whoo! I mean, three totally different sports truly, and I know we could probably talk for hours just on the difference of all of them,
Mhm.
but I would highly suggest I guess you give advice to people. I would just say for people that are fans, start exploring what it is that or what it takes and stylistically what's different about those competitive avenues because the more you dive into it, the more you realize that there can be black and white differences and that's just from watching and then you try and put yourself in it and
Mhm.
train it and I just think I mean it takes a lot and then I think about these individuals that cross train between all of them and
Yeah.
you get even more well-rounded. But any advice that you have for people that are maybe fans or that are also interested in going in one of those directions, how to dissect
Yeah.
which art to pursue?
Yeah, I gotta try them all, you know? I think that, all of them are great, you know, as a person who's done boxing and done kickboxing. I've been to Holland, I've been to Amsterdam, I trained in Meiji Gym, Boss Gym as well. I have influence in Muay Thai and Dutch Muay Thai as well. I think that, they are their own arts, and not one is better than the other. And any day, a Dutch Muay Thai person can knock out a Thai. A Thai can knock out a Dutch. A good boxer can land this fucking jab on a good Muay Thai guy all day and just whack him. So there is no dominance of like style is better than styles. I think that's
Right.
very small to think, very not growth mindset. I do say that doing all of them at the same time does not help us an athlete or a student. I think that finding one style to first adapt and then grow from there, usually from my experience, is the best medicine. I had an athlete, she did everything. She did MMA, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. And this is before she started working with me. And she was like bad at everything. And jujitsu too. I don't know. I think it was her coach and I'm not speaking bad of her coach at all, but I think it's just like more opportunities. You know, you grow more, right? You grow, we get more
Mhm.
opportunities, but like it's different. It's like
Mhm.
the stands are different, the application's different, the rule sets are different, the scoring is different, and they don't know any better. The beginners,
Mhm.
it's they don't want to be better. So of course they're going to say yes to a coach because they trust you, you know.
Mhm.
And so then now you have this problem where you have too much, you don't know where to go, and you're not really growing. You're actually just going the other way. And I saw the athlete in tournaments, and she was always very respectful for me. She knew my credentials and my experience. And then she reached out to me, and I guess she's like, "I want to work with you. I want to like take this to the next level." And I told her, "I was like, if you work with me, you cannot do MMA. You cannot do jujitsu. Like, we'll dabble in kickboxing, but if you train with me, you train with me Muay Thai,
Mhm.
and we're gonna embrace that." And so she did, and we focused on kickboxing and Muay Thai. I started like, you know, just pushing off the kickboxing over time. But she started seeing success. She turned the ship around. You start seeing like she wasn't so divided in so many things.
Mhm.
And so we were in England in October and we won the world title. We beat Brazil and Canada for the kickboxing division and the Muay Thai division. She's a two-time world champion. But because we instilled this whole funnel system, and I get it. As a beginner, it's exciting. You want to do everything.
Yeah.
You want to do jujitsu. You want to do Muay Thai, kickboxing. I gotta work. I gotta go boxing class. I gotta go to this class. It's just like slow it down. Like you know, it's
Right.
like there's no need. I'm a huge reader, Kaylee. I love reading. That's one of my
Mhm.
hobbies. And maybe because growing up, none of my family read, and because I never did come to college. But I loved reading. One of those great book, two great books is Mastery. Can't think about the author, but I can share with you after this podcast. And the other one is the inner game of tennis. The closest, I think, to my perspective, is the closest other sport to fighting is tennis. Have you played tennis before, Kaylee?
I have attempted. It wasn't pretty,
Same here. Like, yeah, I wasn't great either. I was a terrible doubles partner.
but no, not competitively or anything, but I've hit a couple balls around
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also outside of the cage and everything, but
There's a lot, but these are two really great books to kind of, if you're an athlete or a student, I recommend, with my students, I recommend them books. In my
I
school,
appreciate the recommendations because that was on my list of questions that I had for
oh,
you.
I have many. I have a Google spreadsheet of all the books. I recommend my fighters books. I recommend my students books. Um, it's such a hack to read.
Mhm.
It's such a hack to digest some other people's wisdoms and experiences into yourself.
Yeah.
And so I think like the inner game of tennis, mastery, chop wood, carry water. I could keep naming many more, but and I think like the common person again, just like figure out, start chiseling down what are the things called to you that you really enjoy.
Mhm.
Just because your friend is doing jujitsu and he thinks jujitsu is the greatest thing in the world, maybe that's not for you. Or vice
Right.
versa. Maybe because they love Muay Thai so much, then they're trying to like, maybe Muay Thai is not for you. Maybe it's boxing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, let that extra noise be that extra noise. Just kind of find the calling and homing in what you like.
Right.
Even competing too, the environment produces people to compete and you compete, but have you asked yourself, do you really want to compete? Or is it because everyone else is fucking doing it?
Yeah. Yeah. And so you explain very well the differences and considering is it worth practicing in all of these
Mhm.
different avenues from somebody like you who has a background that goes way back, years of experience across various disciplines. You've trained Muay Thai, BJJ, Krav
Mhm.
Maga, boxing. What core lesson have you noticed that has kind of shown up across the board, regardless of the style?
Core lesson. How can we break that down even more? Like,
That question.
yeah, core lesson.
So, whether it be physical skills, a psychological component, mental strength,
Okay.
maybe just personality, is there something that you've noticed or that you've learned, whether it be within yourself or practice in other avenues that you've noticed
Yeah.
about others or
Yeah.
coaches
Yeah.
that you feel like across the board has been something that you've,
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. Have a beginner's mindset
ooh, I like that.
in all those sports and modalities. Have a beginner's mindset. Yeah. I think um how can if your water cup is full, how can you fill it more unless you just dump it out and then fill it up again?
Mhm.
So I think if you are an all across board, just become a beginner and just love being a beginner. Embrace that. I think that's the part that's an all across boards. Like and then at the next tier, if we have it, then it's ask questions. I think asking questions is the best usually the best strategy for like understanding the sport or whatever. And I usually when I approach Jeet Kune Do, Krav Maga, I ask questions.
Mhm.
And sometimes the instructors don't have answers, and that's okay. Like we're insecure, we want answers,
Mhm.
right? We want answers. And sometimes these answers cannot be answered at that moment. It takes
Mhm.
time to find the solution or answer and be okay
Mhm.
with that. And all this
Yeah.
it's because it's an art, right? If I go AI right now and be like, give me combination for Muay Thai, it'll give me a combination, but it will never give me the art.
Mhm.
AI will
Yeah.
never produce the art. And the art is what takes time.
Yeah. Very good. So, what do you hope your students take with them long after they either continue or ultimately stop training with you? What's something that you hope they take?
Grit, life's hard. You're training for the things that are hard are training you for life. And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you can also be kind. You can see that the people on the mat have all walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have a bigger perspective of how we're all connected, how we're all part of the same world, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what I want my students to take. If you're my instructor, it is your responsibility to pass the art. You're a position of service.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you have to require oneself to reflect. And if you decide to become a school owner, gym owner, then find your shadows, learn how to deal with your shadows, do shadow work. Because those things are going to creep up really fast, especially in fighting and in martial arts. Martial arts tend to bring in narcissists for some reason, and like many other modalities too. But like just if you decide to become a martial arts school owner, decide to pass the art, learn how to work with with your shadows,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully that will encompass you to a place where you can spread the art in a better way. Like my master Arjun Chai, one of the pioneers who brought Muay Thai to America in 1968. He's in his late 70s now. And I know I don't have a lot of years with him. Right now, he's in Thailand and he's going to be coming back to US for one last tour. And many of us in the Muay Thai community are the beneficiaries of this man traveling around the country, like the Gracie family, proving Muay Thai work. And so he's done his work. It's our job
Mm-hmm.
to pass it to the next part. And that's also what I tell my students. I'm teaching you the
Yeah.
Y crew, the Y more. I'm teaching you language. I'm teaching you all this because I want this thing to continue to pass.
Yeah.
Right? We have belts up in our gym, and I can throw them all out to the trash because it makes no sense to me if it's not
Mm-hmm.
the art past with the heart.
Yeah. Super powerful. If someone listening is currently in survival mode, whether it's, they're undocumented, overwhelmed, unsure of their future, what would you want them to hear right now?
I was also unsure. I also was scared. I was also worried and uncertain. I also wanted to protect my family too. I understand you. I understand that this is unfair. I understand that this is out of many of these things are out of your control. But you can't let that break you. No matter what happens, never stop. Keep going. Keep going. And I swear to you, with all my life, with all my money in my bank, with everything I have, things will work out. You just got to keep going.
Love it. Daniel, I finish every episode off with two main questions.
Dang.
The first one is, what's something you wish didn't have as much of a grip on you in your life?
My past growing up was really difficult. Now I'm in therapy. So I go to therapy every week and I'm dealing with those things to become a better leader. But those are the grips that I have. A lot of, like I told you, like it's just very, very hard going in this country. And I was always in survival mode, like the hierarchy of needs, right? Maybe you heard of that before, the hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
So yeah, so I was always at that base level, bottom level, and it was difficult for me to really to connect with my inner child. So it does have a grip on me in my past to be a protector of my mom, my brother, but now I'm letting it go, and then the grip is slowly loosening, and now I can be more of my childlike self.
Yeah. Yeah. And to reverse that question, what is something you wish you had more of a grip on in your life?
I guess my family. Yeah, yeah, because I'm the only one in Colorado. My family's in the East Coast. But I choose to be here because I love the mountains. I love I love being out here. So I think I'll make it more of an effort to be with them, or to somehow trick them to move here. I love having my friends are great. My community is great. My family is great too. But they're a little further away, and at some point I would love to just be closer to them somehow, some way. But we'll see.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Daniel, I cannot thank you enough for giving me the time and space. This has been super informative, enlightening conversation, and powerful. I think you spoke on a lot of really great things that I think a lot of people will resonate with and hopefully learn from. And
Thank you.
so, for those listening or watching that want to follow along, please, if you're in the Denver area, first and foremost, reach out to Daniel. I would say go swing in through the gym, but he's got a protocol that you must follow. So reach out to him. One way to do so is you can check out Denver Muay Thai and Fitness, their website at www.coachdannychacon.com. You can check out his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of really great insight, video tutorials. He has guests on there. Go and explore that at Coach Daniel Chacon. And then he's also got, and I'm going to shout this out because I actually thought it was really cool. He's got a Medium account at Daniel Chacon, where he discusses various topics, but just to name a few, might be life after fighting, narcissism in martial arts, directing the beast versus taming it, embracing humility, and many more golden nuggets. So one way, shape, or form, go check out what Daniel has to offer. Daniel, what's your Instagram too?
Double Kick Danny.
Okay, Double Kick Danny. Perfect. So many different avenues to be connected with this guy. I don't think you guys will regret it. So go show him some love.
Thank you, Kaylee.
You've just, like I said, been a joy. So I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too. Thank you for the opportunity. And it's a blessing to be part of this and spend time with you and giving me the space and time to listen and ask questions. You're a great podcaster and a great person to be interviewed by. And your genuine interest of asking questions and being present is very thoughtful. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to The Grip. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow along on Instagram at The Grip Pod to stay up to date on new episodes. That way you can send over a DM if you've got a question you'd like to hear answered on our roll call series. Now remember, stay sharp, be grounded, and never lose your grip. See you next time.